Hi, good morning. We are excited to have a amazing speaker come and join us any minute now. Good morning, good morning. This was something that was planned weeks ago and also a surprise for us today. But we are going to be joined by Andrea Strang for our 4th day of Parent Shower Week. She is the founder of Sleep and has been a sleep consultant for over a decade. I'm gonna let her come on and share all the things that we need to know as parents when it comes to sleep. Sleep for ourselves, sleep for our baby, and all of the craziness in between. And then we're also going to be sharing and unveiling our exclusive Sleep Bootcamp bundle reward that Andrea has worked with us on to create for Healing Mama's fundraising campaign. So we are going to give Andrea of Sleep a few more seconds to come and join us. She's going to be coming on live with us and answering all of your sleep questions. So this is something that my husband and I, hi, good morning. This is something that my husband and I still, have to work through on a daily basis is sleep. So we still co-sleep with our toddler, and some nights are better than others. And we just are powering through. And so Andrea is going to be joining us any second now. So we talk all about sleep. I know this is a topic for many first-time parents and also for experienced parents, because it doesn't matter if it's baby number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sleep is a challenge at times and can be a very different experience between different babies. So Andrea is going to be joining us any second now. Let's see if we can, no, there is no way of contacting Andrea. All right, okay, ladies that are on right now, do you guys have any sleep questions? We can start funneling through sleep questions right now, because we've had a few people chime in over the last week or so and give us some of their sleep questions. So one of the questions we have is, how do I transition my baby who is 3 months old from contact sleep to sleeping in a crib? Now that is something that even now I'm trying to figure out with the toddler, not necessarily a crib, but into his own bed. Do you have any questions that you want us to ask Andrea? All right, we're gonna get Andrea to join us. I am contacting my partner and asking her to message Andrea, because maybe Instagram Live is a whole new creature for a lot of our speakers that we've had all week. So just as a reminder, if you haven't done so already, check out our amazing giveaways. I actually just did a count right now. We have 19 giveaways. I didn't even realize how many giveaways we had lined up for this week until literally right now, when I just went on live and went through all of the giveaways. So a quick recap of how to enter. We've given a separate post to each giveaway with how to enter. And the entering is really, really easy. It's like us, follow us, and our partner, whoever it is that created that giveaway, and then comment hashtag Parent Shower Week and another either expectant person, expectant couple, or enter for yourself. So you can enter as many giveaways as possible. All of our contests for every single prize ends tomorrow, Friday, January 8th at 10 a.m. So I just announced we are doing our grand prize, which is what we're calling the Ultimate Parents to Be prize package. So that ultimate grand prize will be announced tomorrow with all the rest of our prize winners. That also closes tomorrow, Friday, January 8th at 10 a.m. What's included in the grand prize, Ultimate Parents to Be prize package, is our ultimate labor and postpartum system. I am ask her to join the live session. We are having some technical difficulties in telling Andrea exactly how to join our Instagram live. Tell her to click on that icon to join so I can invite her. Okay, thank you so much for your patience. We're gonna make this happen. Andrea is actually here somewhere. I don't see her. We are gonna, no. Andrea's gonna be joining us any second now. Yes, she's almost here. So again, quick recap. The prize pack is our ultimate labor and postpartum system and our birthing partner labor and postpartum system. So Andrea will be joining our live session any second now. Thank you so much for your patience. I am. Okay, she's almost here. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, there she is. All right. And Andrea will be joining us. 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Andrea will be here any second. Yes, I'm so excited to have you, Andrea. Thank you for joining.
It's awesome. I'm sorry, we had some user error here.
Not a problem. I am typing Anna on the side. I'm like, tell Andrea how to join in. So we're making it happen. I mean, technology, it is a creature of innovation and just crazy at the same time.
I know, and I appreciate your patience. This is the first time, but we've got to celebrate. I'm here, yay!
I love your sign. It is perfect. Oh my goodness. Thank you. So I'm gonna pull up our perfect. All right. So Andrea, thank you for joining us for Healing Mama's first Parent Shower Week. We're so excited to kick off 2021, showering parents, because it's crazy right now and parents just need to be showered. So thank you for joining us.
Awesome. I'm so happy to be here. Somebody said party, right?
Woohoo! I love your balloons and your goodies. You're all prepared. So, Andrea, I'm going to dive right in because I do have some questions here and I do want to talk about a whole bunch of things because sleep is something that it plagues us all of us, in so many ways. So, before we go into that, tell us about how you started Kindersleep, how you started even in this work of sleep consulting, and what brought you here.
Yeah, so I started working as a postpartum doula, doing nights so that I could be a stay-at-home mom for my 3 kids, put them to bed, go to work, get home, and start the day all over. And it was great. I did that for about 10 years. But as I was working at nights with moms and babies, I started getting really interested in how children were sleeping. And so I started learning and reading everything I could. And then my clients were calling me back to get help with sleep.
Right.
And back then, it was 17 or 18 years ago, there weren't any courses for sleep consultants. But the first ones I could grab, I jumped in. So my first training was with a psychologist in the UK, and then I did a US program, and then I ended up teaching in these programs. And so I've been teaching for the last 9 years, other sleep consultants and mentoring. And so I really love it. I've learned so much and really have sort of evolved over the years. So there's all these different philosophies and stuff. And,
exactly.
We have on one end, we have like do cry it out. And on the other hand, we have do nothing. Well, I fill the gap in between. So I want to help families improve their sleep, but in a very respectful, gentle, and supportive way.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate it, because finding a balance, finding what works is really it's like a puzzle with no picture. You just try that piece. Okay, that didn't fit. Let's try another piece. Okay, that didn't fit either. Let's try, keep trying. And the work that you do helps parents navigate all of the different ways that sleep can go, because there is no such thing as a one size fits all in anything. It just doesn't exist. And sleep is right up there. The methods to get your baby to sleep are vast. And so Andrea is gonna do her best to unveil and share as much of that in our time together. So I want to talk about, first of all, your Sleep Bootcamp, and then we're going to go into questions. So tell us about the Sleep Bootcamp that you created and your goals behind it.
Yeah, so the Gift of Sleep Bootcamp, it's actually a do-it-yourself consult. So I've been working with clients for over a decade, and I really wanted to put something together to support my clients, but also so that parents could have a low-cost option that walks them through all of the steps and then offers a variety of gentle, supportive strategies. And so I actually took my consult process and I broke it down, and it goes step by step through the modules. And then, and there's also this really key point that I think is really important, and I do this with my clients, is look at the child's temperament and really try to pair a strategy to the temperament. And so there's a huge section in there about understanding your child's temperament. There are certain temperaments that are more challenging for sleep.
Yes.
And so, especially if you have like a little one who's very curious, very aware, stimulated, you might think that they are challenging, difficult, spirited. These kids have busy brains and they have a hard time sleeping. And so, a lot of times their parents do too. So there's pathways to from temperament to the 6 different strategies, and also sometimes we'll combine them as well. And then in addition to that, there's also nap coaching and nap shaping strategies as well. So when you get on there, you get a blank fill in the blank sleep plan, and it walks you through all of the modules, and you're really creating a sleep plan for your little one. And then you also have the Facebook group where you can ask questions and get support, and I do a Q&A in there once a week.
Amazing. So that is interactive, your Facebook group that comes with all the members who signed up for the Sleep Bootcamp.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, that's a fantastic added bonus, because there's the learning it at your pace depending on what you need at that time, and then there's the application of it, and like, okay, something's off. What am I missing? I need to ask somebody a question. You go to the Facebook group, and then you can kind of barf the questions out at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's, a lot of times there's tweaking that needs to happen, or there's a snag. And so that's where we can definitely address those things.
So that is a perfect combination. And I say perfect combination because, and if you have questions, please share your questions with us while we have Andrea here with us. So I want to also share that Andrea and I have come together to create what we call our Sleep Bootcamp bundle to support Healing Mama's fundraiser. Andrea and the work that she does is so incredible, and we are so grateful to be able to bring this fundraising reward together. So in this reward, you will get access to Andrea's Gift of Sleep Bootcamp program and her Facebook group, where you can, like I just said, barf all the things that are working and not working, and then get the support you need to tweak it, adjust it, and make it work for you and your baby. And we are also bringing to the world the very first sleep bundle for parents. So Let's just quickly talk about this amazing bundle that I am so shocked doesn't exist in the market already. And we'll just highlight some of the items that we're bringing together to make this bundle a reality. So one thing, so I'm going to mention some things and then you mention some things because I know there's some that are top of mind that you've wanted people to do for many, many years. So for us, I know for sure there's going to be our silk sleep mask and earplugs that will be included in the bundle. Andrea, do you want to share the other item that you may or may not have, the glasses?
I do, but they're in the other part of my office, so I'm sorry.
That's the problem.
They actually just look like regular glasses. They look like my glasses, only a bit cooler.
Can you just quickly talk about what the benefits are of wearing the, what's the actual name that most people will understand it as?
Yeah, so some people will call them like screen protective glasses, or they're low blue glasses. So they filter out the blue light from television screens and also from these bright halogens and LEDs that we have in our home. It is a super easy way to improve your sleep and also your mood. So when you use these glasses, especially in the hours before bedtime,
Yes.
your melatonin will naturally increase in your body. So you're going to feel sleepy and it's going to be easier for you to fall asleep. So, you know, you've heard turn off screens 2 hours before bedtime, but that is not always very practical. And especially if you're like really stressed out and just binge watching your favorite show is just making you like the best thing in your life right now. You can just put the glasses on.
Yeah, while you're watching it, so you can still enjoy and not have that rise and still be able to fall asleep well. So we have the glasses that are included. We're also getting the night light with the red lamp or red light, so that if you do night reading, the yellow lights don't keep you awake. You can use this light, and it's also great for a night light in general. So that's going to be included. I am able to find a film. So not necessarily a film for your cell phone or your laptop, because there's already apps and most Apple products actually have a night filter on it. So that's great. What this film that we have been able to find is going to be used for your baby monitors. Oh my goodness, Andrea, tell us about this.
Yeah, so this is so awesome because melatonin in the evening, it builds and it helps us to feel sleepy, to fall asleep. But melatonin also recharges through the night. So if you are sleeping with a light on, even a little LED light can be problematic. Or if you're going to the bathroom in the night and you turn the light on, that actually lowers your melatonin. And as soon as melatonin starts to go down, cortisol starts to rise. It makes you more wakeful. And we know like super elevated levels of cortisol also contribute to stress, right?
Yes, exactly.
So the red night light is just perfect, because if you have to go to the bathroom, if you're pregnant, you're going to the bathroom, you need the light on, put the red night light in there. That will protect your melatonin. Moms who sleep better, there's research that shows this, moms who sleep better in pregnancy have babies that sleep better. So you want to use the red light to protect your night light, to protect your melatonin. But after your baby's born, most of us have the video monitors.
Yes.
So your phone will have a night light mode or a blue light filter that will help with protecting your melatonin. But the video monitors, I haven't seen any yet that have them. And you're probably going to be checking it out quite often. And so, you know, I've even had moms who just sort of stare at the video monitor all night long, which I do not recommend. But if you are prone to checking that video monitor every time you touch it or look at it, or if it's beside your bedside, that light is impacting your melatonin, your sleep, your mood. And so the film is beautiful. You can cut it to fit perfectly on your video monitor. It's the kind of film that you can actually take it off and rinse it off and put it back on. It's like the kind you put on your car window to shade it. And so this is actually I have not found anyone else is doing them. It's amazing that you're doing this, Rowena, because it is so needed. Everybody needs this film for your video monitor to protect your melatonin and just to, really reduce that stress and promote sleep. So it's one thing to need to wake up to feed your baby at night, but it's really important that you can get back to sleep. And so that's the other thing about the red night light in pregnancy, great in the bathroom. Once the baby's born, if you need light to feed, that's going to be perfect.
Exactly. Yes. Oh my goodness. I didn't even think about that application. It should have come to my mind first, but I think I just like half awake with just darkness. Okay, find the boob, go figure it out. I don't even know if I had a light on. I can barely remember.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times some moms can do it in the dark eventually, but in the beginning, you certainly can't. And in the beginning, you're also changing the diapers. And so if you're able to protect your melatonin, keep that sleepy hormone, guess what? If you're breastfeeding, that melatonin gets transferred to your baby and your baby will feel more sleepy also. So it's like a natural thing you can do. So normal, natural, but it can easily promote sleep just to protect your melatonin. So this kit is just amazing.
It's going to be coming together very soon. And we're also including the Puka sleep tea that mama can take, which is also safe for her to have if she is breastfeeding as well. And then we are also sourcing out I guess you could call it an eye bag. It's considered an eye mask as well, but it's the one that is filled with either flaxseed or the one that we have so there's two. We're still figuring out which one we're going to go with. Either there's some flaxseed ones, there's some with wheat, and there's some with rice. So we're figuring out which one to go with, but it'll be a weighted, that pillow. That's the word I'm looking for.
That's so amazing. My brother-in-law is an optometrist and vision therapist, and he has them on his counter. All of his clients take them because it's so good for your eyes, but it's instantly relaxing. Like when you just put it in the microwave for like 20 seconds or something, not very much, and you just put it on and instant full body relaxation. It is amazing.
I'm excited for this bundle for myself.
I know.
I'm like, I want this pillow now. My son did not sleep well last night, but okay. So there's that. You'll also be getting Andrea's original write-up that's included in our Healing Mama guide. We're creating that into a separate card that will be an insert into the sleep bundle. And then we are also going to have the door knocker that says, shh, baby sleeping. And that's going to be coming from Kinder Sleep because, people need to stay away from the rooms where the child is sleeping, or else there will be a war of some kind happening among the parents.
It's also, we're sending you beautiful sleepy vibes through the door knocker.
Exactly. And nap vibes and sleeping through the night vibes. This is what we want to have for all parents. So this is the sleep bundle. Head over to our fundraising campaign where you will get early access into getting the first ever Healing Mama sleep bundle, along with Andrea's Gift of Sleep Bootcamp. So head over to our fundraiser. We'll post all of that when we post this IGTV. Now let's get to questions. Oh my goodness, Andrea, we have questions. So the first question that came in is, how do I transition my 3-month-old from contact napping to napping in the crib?
Okay. So first of all, I would, so the difference, contact napping is often upright, it's tummy to tummy, usually chest to chest. So you look at what that's offering. If your child's ear is against you, that's very loud white noise, but you might be able to use some external white noise when you're doing a transfer. Lots of time horizontal in the daytime, floor time on the back and on the tummy will help your child get used to it. You can even do play sessions in the crib. That's often a really good idea. You could, when you're doing the holding naps, you could try to turn your child so they are, let me get my little guy. So usually we hold them like this. If you turn your child so that their chest is to the open air when you're doing sleep, then they're getting used to what it's like when they're laying flat on their back.
Got it.
So that might be something that helps in the process. It's really normal for a 3-month-old to need to be comforted, nursed, or fed to sleep.
Yes.
And a lot of them times you can transfer down. But if you're having troubles with that, first making sure that they can be horizontal in the daytime, lots of floor time can help for sure. There are some little, sometimes you can remain in contact as much as possible, but thinking about in your arms is motion. So when you put them down, you might want to just jiggle the bassinet, or if you have like a vibrating bassinet, that might help. Then there's the white noise. So that might be something you can externally pipe up some white noise. You don't have to keep it loud all the time.
Now, and our son is 2.5. We still use the white noise.
Yeah, a lot of times you can turn it down quite quiet after your child's used to it as well. But yeah, it's can be really helpful. So, but yeah, it's really normal, and there's nothing wrong with contact naps, except that if you're not managing well, or if you can't like carve out some time to go to the bathroom or anything, then that's not good. I had one mom who couldn't put her child down for their naps, and she ended up getting a bladder infection. So you don't want to do that.
No, mamas, no, that is not worth it. That is not worth it. You need to have your health be as optimal as you can, because if it goes wrong, then everybody is affected. So you first, and then baby will benefit 100%. So let's talk about that first, the first 24 hours when baby is earthbound, because there is no bigger learning curve than as soon as your baby pops out. Like you're just thrusted. There's no refunds, there's no returns. You have to just go into action. There's no going back. So that first 24 hours, there's so many different emotions that's happening between the birthing person and potentially the couple. If this is a couple instance, then it's what does that first 24 hours of sleep look like for the baby? And then how can parents kind of anticipate that event for themselves? Because that could be a hospital setting, a birth center setting, or a home setting.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it can be variable. Like you'll hear parents say like, oh, my child was really sleepy for those first couple of days and we had to wake them up for feeds. Yet there are children who are sort of more awake and alert. And so I don't want to set you up for expectations that are, that are going to, but you'd probably be surprised to hear this from me, but sleep is not the most important thing in those early weeks. Initially, it's a time for connecting and a time for healing.
Right.
And most babies will sleep. Now, what it typically looks like is they wake up, they eat, you change the diaper, and they go back to sleep. And then the next time they wake up, you do the exact same thing over again. It's when they are awake that you start to stay awake for, 10, 15, 20 minutes. Then you're like, oh, what am I supposed to do with this little one?
Right.
But yeah, so just going with the flow is probably the best thing. I know there's a lot of like sleep tips out there. I used to give out sleep tips for newborns, but I find that it's much better for parents to just figure things out and see what works, see what feels right, and just do it. And there's no problem with nursing to sleep, feeding to sleep, comforting, rocking, walking to sleep, back to sleep. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. And it's actually really helpful, especially in the early months. And I would say if you can do that for the first 6 months, that's awesome.
Yeah.
If it stops working, that's where I can help, or if there's struggles. But if you figure out a way to get your baby to sleep and back to sleep, then that's the best way, is the way you figured out.
Exactly. And so it's really like what you're saying. Figure your baby out and figure out the rhythm for both of you. This way, keep going, keep going and find your way through it. And so I wanted to talk about this sleep training, all of it. Let's just dive into sleep training and what does it mean? What does it really mean to take on sleep training versus us? Well, transitioning from us, we figured it out. We figured out how to put our baby down. Now it's, I really need to get some sleep now. So let's just get into some type of a training mode.
Yeah, so there's lots of options here. First, I would just say that it is probably impossible for most children to develop any kind of sleep habits or skills before 4.5 months, or at least they won't last typically. I mean, every child is different, and probably about 20% of children are easy. And those are the ones that, you know, you hear that the parents just put them down drowsy and they fell asleep and it was beautiful. That doesn't really happen in the real world very often,
Right.
Even though it's out there.
I've seen it. We were not graced with that, with our baby, but we've seen it firsthand. So yes, you're right. It does exist in the world, far and far in between.
Yeah, it doesn't exist in my world because people only contact me when it doesn't work. If you try something and your baby doesn't cry and it works, and that's great, that means there's nothing wrong with it. If the child is going to cry, we need to make sure that, you know, it's minimal and it's supported, and we're going to see improvements in results that make it worthwhile. And so I suggest the easiest time and the best time to work on sleep habits is between 6 months and 16 months.
Okay.
It gets a lot harder after 18 months. So I always try to encourage people to do things before then. The earliest I will work with the family on sleep, behavioral sleep aspects is 4.5 months.
Okay.
You can book a free call with me on my website, kindersleep.com. At any age, I'm happy to chat. Mostly for the younger ones, I'm saying your baby's normal. It's fine if they're nursing, comforting to sleep. You know, all of this stuff. It's fine.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's little things that could be changed or should be changed, but for the most part, go with the flow. It's the best option because you're actually investing in your child's sleep later on because you're really building their attachment and infant mental health.
Got it.
So when we look at strategies, there's a huge range, and we always start out with sort of the sleep hygiene. So, you know, making sure the environment is just right, and overtiredness, and, you know, dealing with things like that. I'm not a big strict scheduler. I don't think that's very important, but overtiredness right before bed seems to have a big impact. And so then when we look at really changing how the child's falling asleep at bedtime, that's where it is, you know, a strategy is needed. And so there's sleep training strategies that are a huge realm. I don't use the cry it out or the time checking strategies.
Right.
And so that's typically what a lot of people refer to as sleep training. I mean, sleep training is sort of like a broad term.
Statement. Yeah.
I use sleep coaching more, so I don't want anyone to get confused. I use sleep coaching because I always use strategies where the child has somebody with them offering support. And so there's a broad range that I use even. So my gentlest strategy is in my book, Love to Sleep. And this is where you just are gently nudging a child to better sleep habits at bedtime, which typically, you know, cascade into sleeping well through the night. And often, you know, we can then go to naps.
Got it.
So Love to Sleep, you know, it's I co-authored with Jen Varela, and that we wanted to put it in a book so that it's easily accessible. This is our gentlest strategy. Then we have a number of other strategies we use where it involves somebody staying, offering support. We do calming breaks if needed.
Mm-hmm.
With Love to Sleep, there's not very much crying or any crying. I don't want to say no cry because they could stop the crying right away. So you know, I don't want to set any unrealistic expectations. Some of the faster strategies that I use, the child cries, we do calming breaks, we support them. We try to prevent the crying altogether by really tailoring the strategy and combining strategies where needed.
Right.
And so there's a huge range. It's not something you have to do, but if you're finding it difficult, addressing how your child's falling asleep at bedtime, even if you only address that time period, it can have a really significant impact on the rest of the night and also day sleep. So that's typically a place to start.
Right. Got it. We just had, thank you for the comment. So she mentioned that she likes gentle nudging into better sleep habits, and that, yeah, so actually this is something that I'm seeing more and more now in my own household, that who my son is, his sleep habits, who it reflects more of. And I don't know, is this something that you see in your practice, where you see a child or a parent will say, my child sleeps like me, or my child sleeps like my partner? And that's very much where we are. I can definitely see in his habits that he sleeps like my partner, which is he's a challenging sleeper. Everything wakes him up. He's has a hard time finding comfort. One position throughout the night is not enough. It's like constantly moving and all of that. So when a parent starts figuring out their child's sleep habits based on their own habits, is there something that you can address for the parent itself? Because like I said, my husband he's a challenge to get himself to sleep. And so bringing that onto our son and doing our best to give him good sleep habits, it's, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, so I would, there's lots that can be done in most cases. So things that are hereditary, I mean, temperament is hereditary, right?
Yes.
And sometimes there's different, like physically, sometimes we see families that have tongue ties or mouth breathing or snoring, and those things can carry through. And so it's important to kind of look at those things. A lot of families I work with, the parents have really busy minds, and that's how I describe their child. Your child has a really busy mind. They're having trouble shutting it out. But just because a parent is not a great sleeper, it does not mean that that's why the child is not a great sleeper, or that there's not anything you can do about it.
Right.
So, for example, for adults who are having trouble just clearing their mind to fall asleep, playing Sudoku before bed can be really helpful.
That's also included in the bundle. I knew there was something I was forgetting. Is a little Sudoku with a pencil, so you can play that to get.
Oh my goodness! You thought of everything.
We thought of everything because you're the one who helped bring this idea to
awesome.
life. But yes.
Yeah. So Sudoku is amazing because it gathers up all your thoughts and focuses it into this one strategy at one activity, and then when you're done the activity, your mind is blank. And so, if this helps for a parent, then we know that the child probably also has a very busy mind.
Right.
There are things we can do, like a very dark room for these kids, really helpful. The white noise is really helpful with kids with busy brains. And also there's really specific sleep coaching strategies. So a lot of families, probably about 60 to 70% of the kids I've described as more alert than average. I mean, there's different ways that they're described temperament-wise, like high difficulties, spirited,
right.
But in any case, I just call them more alert than average.
Yeah.
And so we have really specific sleep coaching strategies that work well for these kids. Most of the families coming to me have already tried all the traditional sleep coaching strategies, and it didn't work. And so we really need to apply a strategy to the temperament specifically, and that's where we see the success. Yeah. So if you have one of these kids,
version for kids. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to give my toddler Sudoku, but is there an activity like a Sudoku that allows their brain yes, the white noise does make a difference because he hears anything, he's awake. But activity-wise, does reading a book before bed help the brain calm, or does that actually have the brain wake up again?
Sometimes, and as an adult, like sometimes reading a book is helpful and you fall asleep, but a lot of people will just keep going because the book is interesting.
Yeah.
So for adults, sometimes they just have to read the same book over and over again. So that might apply to children. I teach young children. I don't know how old your little one is.
He's 2.5.
2.5, yeah. So there are some like mindfulness things that you can start at this age. I teach skip counting to children. So this is similar to Sudoku. We do have Sudoku starting at the grade 1 level, but skip counting or find like a word find.
How it sounds like 1, 3.
Yeah. So how you teach it is you figure out however, if your child can count to 20, you put your hand on yourself and you say 1, and then you put your hand on him and you get him to say 2, and then you go 3 and then 4.
Oh, okay. I got it. Oh, that's so fun. We're going to
So eventually he can learn to do that by himself in his bed when he's trying to fall asleep.
Got it. Okay. Okay. It's a great tool.
Yeah, you can also play like a audio book or something that is just sort of very repetitive that he does every night.
Okay, got it. There's a book, there's like a handful of books, like many kids, that's like the go-to. It's like the 5 in rotation constantly. It's like, okay, that book again, got it. Okay, and then no, it's time for bed. Exactly. We had one question, actually, this is a good question. Are sleep personalities a real thing?
So it's probably something that somebody made up, but temperament is a real thing. And in the research, there is some evidence that some people are early wakers and some people are late, are late sleepers.
Right.
But those are things that can be manipulated by, using light therapy, light exposure. So I don't buy into it too much. Like sometimes parents will say, well, my husband doesn't go to bed till 1 o'clock. And so therefore my infant won't sleep till 1 o'clock. That's not normal. Like you benefit health-wise from being in bed between 10 and 11 o'clock. And there's all kinds of microbiomes and systems in your body that benefit from that chunk of sleep at the beginning of the night.
Yes.
And, we get ourselves set up for like, if you are going to bed late and sleeping in late, or you're not in enough light in the daytime. And that's a kind of a big thing during the pandemic, is to make sure that we have ideally outdoor light exposure every single day, adequate vitamin D levels, and that there's light in the daytime, but at night there's no light. Right. And those are big impact. So I don't buy into the sleep personality thing too much, but there is some research on like early risers and later bedtime people that's part of their chronotype. But this is something that can be manipulated.
Okay.
So
I can see. Yeah. One mentioned the night owl versus I'm guessing that's the early rooster. But
the larks and
we had roosters all day long, so they're not necessarily early risers.
Yes, it's true. We had our neighbors had roosters, and they were kind enough to wait until 7:30 in the morning to start crowing. So
gracious. We had a 4:15 one, we had a 5 a.m. one, so yes, they're all hours of all the days.
Yes.
So can we talk about what partners can do to support each other's sleep during that early parenthood phase? Because it's really, we've got to get on the same page, because you can't just wing it. There's a point where you can, and then there's a point where it's okay. One of us is dying or we're both going under. We can't both go under. One of us has to be on top while the other's getting rest. So what are some of the techniques that a parenting couple can do to support each other?
Yeah, so I think the most important thing is to make sure that each of you are getting enough sleep. And so there's some research on this. If you are not getting 5.5 hours of sleep in a 24-hour period, then you're probably going to wonder if you have a mental illness. So you're just not going to be able to cope. You won't feel yourself. So, so 5.5 hours is kind of a goal. The research shows that new parents can survive and cope and manage on 5.5 hours for 8 months. So, keeping track.
5.5 hours, 8 months. That's
I mean, yeah, so this is in general. So what is really helpful about this is that as a team, you can make sure each other is getting that 5.5 hours. So you're going to count the naps and the night sleep. And, you know, a lot of times the birthing parent is not able to count. So the partner would be great if they can kind of keep track.
Right.
And then what happens is, you know, you might be at the 4-hour mark or the 5-hour mark, and you may need to let your partner take that baby, or anybody who's in your circle. I guess we call them bubbles now.
Yeah, exactly.
Take the baby, hold them, rock them, walk them, take them for a car ride, the stroller ride. You know, that can just get you a little bit more sleep. And thank you. 5.5 hours is the minimum, but it is manageable. And if you can get more sleep, that would be really awesome.
Yes.
But a lot of families are hovering.
Yes. In that first 4 weeks, please everybody do their best to give the birthing person sleep. They need it. Their body needs to recover and heal, and sleep is the best remedy for that.
Yeah, and you know, and ongoing too. And so some of the research shows that a 4-hour stretch would just be delightful. But you know, even if you're getting the 5.5 or more, that's great. And I mention this because a lot of families coming to me, they're not getting the 5.5. And so it's important for both parents. You can often do some tag teaming, but it's really hard sometimes for the birthing parent to pass the baby off to a support person or partner. And so you need to know yourself, like, you need that sleep. And if you're not getting it, it's so important for your baby that they go into some calm arms. And even if they're not going to sleep, even if they're going to be fussy, or the person needs to rock, walk, jiggle,
yeah,
stroller, carrier, car, whatever it is,
trust that they will do it.
Yes, absolutely. And the most important thing is that your baby is in calm arms, especially if they're fussy, right? So you can't always stop the fussing. And, you know, your partner may not always be able to stop the fussing, but as long as they can stay calm and hold the baby, then that's doing a lot.
Perfect. Exactly. And so I just want to clarify, it's 5.5 hours in a 24-hour period. So that includes breaking it up, having a nap with the baby for an hour, hour and a half, and then having your night sleep, maybe a 3-hour stretch or a 2-hour stretch. But total sleep in a 24-hour period, the aim is to get to at least 5.5 hours and more.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. More would be great, but 5.5 is your bare minimum. And I guess it sounds terrible if you haven't had your baby yet. 5.5, how are you ever going to survive on that? But you can.
You can.
And, you know, and if your baby sleeps longer, great. But I usually only hear from people who are struggling. So I'm a little bit biased there.
I can tell you, at least from this side, we can do it on 5.5 hours of sleep for sure and still be functional. I had a total of 3 hours of sleep last night, and we're here doing this. So fantastic. So totally possible to be able to be to show up for your responsibilities with that much sleep. And then I'm hoping to take a nap with my toddler after today's live sessions when he gets back from the nap. So can we talk about that really quick? What is an appropriate amount of naps for a newborn? I guess 0 to 3 months, and then when they transition to 3 to 6 months, and then when do naps just disappear? That as well.
So the new guidelines from the National Sleep Foundation don't actually separate the naps and the day sleep, because if your child slept like 8 hours in the day, they're going to sleep less at night.
Yeah.
But naps are variable.
Okay.
If the naps are short, there's going to be a lot of them. I can give you some just rough guidelines, though. Most babies will take, depending on how long the naps are, probably 4 to 7 naps a day.
Got it.
That in that range. They may be very short.
While you're there, yeah, talking about the short naps. If your baby is just doing like 30-minute naps and then they're up for an hour and a half and then another 30-minute naps, is it possible to extend those naps to like 45 minutes, an hour? Is it even possible if your baby is just 30 minutes down, up, awake?
For most children, it isn't. But so here's the thing is naps under 6 months are typically short. I mean, children are getting just as restorative sleep with a 2-minute sleep at the breast as a 4-minute sleep, a 45-minute sleep. So it's really common for babies under 6 months to sleep for exactly 20 minutes, or exactly 30 minutes is the most common. If your baby's napping for 45 minutes or longer, then they're going to get a little bit of deeper sleep than a shorter nap, but it's not going to impact them because babies this age spend a lot of time in active sleep, probably about 50-50. Okay. And so even motion sleep the research is showing that motion sleep is actually really restorative. I know all the books haven't caught up to that yet, but motion sleep is in your arms, in the stroller, in a carrier, with a vibrating bassinet, whatever. Even, in your arms, there's that motion. So, so motion sleep is fine. And, babies under 6 months, they're going to spend a lot of time in active sleep. So short naps are fine. They're going to be just as restorative. It's just that if the shorter the nap, the more naps they're going to get. So if it's easy to extend a nap, then it's fine to do that. But it is not necessary. Like your child isn't coming into any harm or not developing or anything like that if they get shorter naps. Shorter naps are really normal. They're natural. They're restorative. Motion naps are restorative, so you don't really have to worry. The only thing is that if you are able to extend 1 or more naps for 45 minutes or longer, then your child will be able to have a longer wakeful period after, and that means that you'll probably have less naps, or it might help you to sort of get a little bit of consistency to your schedule if it's bothering you that your child just seems to every 30 minutes need to sleep, but you would like them to have some consistency to their first nap or their afternoon nap. But I actually don't see a difference in children's development based on this nap scenario. So you don't have to worry about your child not getting enough sleep if they're only sleeping for 10-minute naps. They'll probably need a lot of naps in order to do that, but they're fine. After 6 months, we start to see a consistent morning nap and a consistent afternoon nap emerging.
Right.
And this is actually important. Now, most children between 6 months and 9 months are going to also need a third nap. And if the first 2 naps aren't really long, then it'll probably be a fourth nap. Right. And that's fine also. Nothing wrong with that. Most children in the sort of 8 to 9 months, they might have days where they need the last nap and days when they don't. But by 10, 11, 12 months, most children are just down to 2 solid naps. Yeah. And then sometime between 15 and 18 months, most children will go down to just 1 nap, which we do want to be in the afternoon because that will help them not be overtired at bedtime. Yes. It's very common for children to nap until at least 3.5 years of age. Okay. And we still have kids in kindergarten napping. So that's also normal.
Playtime is nap time.
Yeah, some children will just fall asleep during quiet time at school until they're 4 or 5 years old, and that's fine. Okay. That's normal. It's just the other kids are sort of walking around them.
Yes, exactly. So I want to also highlight again that Andrea is Healing Mama's resident sleep expert. And so you will also get all of Andrea's information and original write up in the Healing Mama Guide that comes with every single one of our labor and postpartum systems, along with we're now up to 15 experts. So along with the 14 other experts, we have Andrea there with us, and they're all from different fields and areas of expertise around pre and postpartum care. So Andrea, can you please tell everyone what are the ways that they can get a hold of you should they want to hire your services or have any questions?
Absolutely. So the best way to speak with me is to book a call on my website, kindersleep.com. There's a free 15-minute call there.
Be sure to screenshot this image. It's there as well in my background.
Yeah, there's also a contact form on my website as well, so you can email from there. And then I'm on Facebook more than Instagram. I'm going to be honest about that, but you will find me on Facebook.
So check out, is it Kindersleep Community or just Kindersleep on Facebook?
So you're going to see it says Kindersleep. It's a long name. Doula, postpart, anyways, you can't change it. So it's just this really long name.
Got it.
Yeah.
And
so
if all of those methods don't work, you can always come to the Healing Mama home, click on Meet Our Experts, and then you'll see Andrea's beautiful picture there, and then be directed to her areas of contact as well. So Andrea, we are so excited to be able to bring this brand new sleep bundle to life together and offer as our fundraising reward your gift of Sleep Bootcamp and this new sleep bundle. There's just never enough time to talk about sleep, but we appreciate it. We appreciate that you made it happen on Instagram today. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, and hugs to everybody.
Have a wonderful rest of your Thursday, and we'll definitely have you on again soon.
Yes, I would love to.
Thanks, Andrea. Bye.
All right. Take care. Bye, everyone.